For more than 4 decades, America believed it knew Greg Mathis, the steady voice of reason, the judge who preached second chances while living what looked like a perfect life. Millions watched him deliver tough love from the bench, believing his own house was built on unshakable ground. But in August 2024, that image collapsed overnight. When Linda Mathis filed for divorce, silence turned into suspicion. Rumors of betrayal spread fast. Whispers of a secret child grew louder. And suddenly, the man who judged everyone else was being judged by the world. How does a symbol of redemption lose control of his own story? And what happened behind closed doors that pushed a 40-year marriage to the breaking point? This is the moment everything changed, when Judge Greg Mathis went from delivering verdicts to facing one of his own. To understand how everything unraveled, you have to go back to the very beginning, long before fame, long before television cameras too. A place where survival came before dreams. Greg Mathis was born on April 5, 1960, inside Herman Gardens, a massive public housing project in Detroit. Built in 1942 as a solution for war workers, the complex once represented opportunity. But by the time Greg was old enough to remember, that promise had faded. The buildings were decaying. Crime was rising. Fear lived in every hallway. His father left early, leaving his mother alone to raise 4 boys with almost nothing. She worked constantly, but the money never stretched far enough. As the 1960s turned into the 1970s, Herman Gardens transformed from a struggling neighborhood into a dangerous one. Returning Vietnam War veterans brought addiction with them, especially heroin, and it spread through the projects like wildfire. Dealers took over stairwells. Neighbors stopped trusting each other. Doors stayed locked. Greg's childhood was shaped by hunger, shame, and constant fear. Then came the night that burned itself into his memory forever. When Greg was just 12 years old, a man high on heroin forced his way into their apartment and tried to attack his mother. The boys fled in terror. Their sense of safety was destroyed in minutes. After that night, life didn't soften, it tightened its grip. The family moved, but violence followed them like a shadow. Gunshots became ordinary sounds, and police sirens replaced bedtime songs. Greg Mathis learned fast that no one was coming to rescue them. Hunger pushed him into the streets early. By 10, he was stealing groceries with other kids just to survive. At first, it felt temporary, almost harmless. But survival became routine, routine became comfort, and comfort slowly turned into identity. By 12, Greg was pulled into a Detroit gang known as the Errol Flynn Crew. What started as stealing food and reselling small items felt like a game. They laughed, shared money, and convinced themselves they were in control. But the streets don't stay playful for long. Petty theft grew into purse snatching, then armed robberies. Empty buildings were no longer enough. They began targeting occupied homes. The danger escalated when they focused on houses owned by police officers, carefully watching schedules and breaking in to steal firearms. Carrying a cop's gun meant power, status, and fear all at once. By 15, heroin ruled Detroit. And Greg was no longer just surrounded by drugs, he was selling them daily. The money fueled guns, not stability. Shootouts became routine. Greg later admitted he carried a gun every day from age 12 and used it often. When he was shot at 13, he didn't feel fear. He felt accepted. By 17, Greg's juvenile record was already overwhelming. More than 20 arrests followed him: burglary, gun possession, drug dealing. He moved in and out of juvenile detention centers so often that it felt routine. But everything changed when he was caught carrying a concealed handgun again. This time, prosecutors charged him as an adult. He was sentenced to 9 months in Wayne County Jail. For the first time, he wasn't surrounded by boys pretending to be men. He was locked up with grown men who had nothing left to lose. While Greg was in jail, his mother finally came to visit him. She sat across the glass and told him the truth without softness. She said he had embarrassed her in the neighborhood, in the schools, and in the church. She said people whispered his name with shame. Then she told him what hurt the most. She had colon cancer, and she didn't have much time left. Greg later said that moment broke him in a way bullets never could. The fear of losing his mother while still trapped in the same life crushed him. The judge offered him a choice: stay in jail and continue down the same path, or earn his GED and try to build something different. Greg chose education. After about 3 months, he was released on probation and enrolled in Operation Push, a program designed to help young men who had been written off by the system. When he earned his GED, something inside him shifted. 6 months later, he enrolled at Eastern Michigan University. The same kid who once sold heroin was now sitting in college classrooms, discovering public administration and law. Greg worked during the day and studied at night. From 1983 to 1987, he attended University of Detroit Mercy School of Law while holding down jobs to survive. When he earned his Juris Doctor degree in 1987, it felt like victory. But the system wasn't ready to forget his past. When he applied for a law license in Michigan, he was rejected. Not once, but 3 times. His criminal history overshadowed everything. Statistics were against him. At the time, people with felony records had almost no chance of approval. Instead of giving up, Greg fought back. In 1988, he took his case directly to the Michigan Supreme Court. He brought 5,000 signatures from people who believed in him. He submitted affidavits from 200 young people he had mentored. He asked the court to see the full picture, not just the boy he once was, but the man he was becoming. That fight laid the foundation for everything that followed. In 1995, after failing the bar exam multiple times, Greg finally passed. That same year, Mayor Dennis Archer appointed him interim judge of Michigan's 36th District Court. At just 35 years old, Greg became the youngest judge in state history. The boy who once sat in a jail cell now sat behind the bench. His courtroom reflected his journey. He was firm but compassionate. Instead of locking people away for minor offenses, he focused on rehabilitation. Within 2 years, recidivism in his district dropped dramatically. In 1999, his story reached a national audience when Judge Greg Mathis premiered on television, produced by Warner Brothers. The show was unlike anything else. Greg spoke plainly. He laughed, scolded, and taught life lessons through small claims cases. The show exploded in popularity, airing across all 50 states and Canada. Over 24 seasons, it produced nearly 4,000 episodes. By 2018, Greg became the longest-serving black male host in courtroom television history, second only to Judge Judy. He earned multiple NAACP Image Awards and won a Daytime Emmy in 2018, making history. Behind the scenes, family was always central to his life. Greg married Linda Ree in 1985, and together they raised 4 children: Jade, Kamara, Greg Jr., and Amir. Linda managed the household, finances, and later, their growing business empire. In 2022, their family entered the spotlight again with Mathis Family Matters, a reality series that showed therapy sessions, conflicts, and vulnerability. During the premiere, Greg Jr. came out as gay on national television. Greg admitted he was hurt, not by his son's truth, but by the fear that made him hide it. Despite success, controversy followed. In 2019, Greg faced a public accusation involving a valet in Detroit, which was later dropped. In 2023, another allegation involving a firearm made headlines, but resulted in no charges. Then came public feuds, online rumors, and relentless tabloid coverage. In August 2024, Linda filed for divorce, citing emotional neglect. Greg admitted to an affair, calling it an unplanned failure. The pain was public and raw. Yet after just 3 weeks apart, they reconciled through therapy. By October 2025, Greg and Linda appeared together on Tamron Hall, holding hands, admitting mistakes, and speaking honestly about healing. Greg warned men everywhere not to neglect their wives. The scandal was loud, but the reconciliation was louder. Through faith and mentorship, they recommitted to rebuilding. The life of Greg Mathis reminds us that redemption is never perfect. It's earned every day. From Herman Gardens to the judge's bench, his story is still unfolding. If this journey moved you, like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this deserve to be remembered. Thanks for watching.